Well, hello once again, Clone Fanatics. This is another awesome episode of Customizing the Clone Wars. And as usual, I am your host. My name is Chad Peak, and I go by Peak Obi-Wan from Peak Obi-Wan Custom Creations on Facebook. But I can't do this show alone. Along with me, I have my co-host. His name is Brian Fulton, and he is Darth Daddy from the Customs for the Kid blog spot. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing really well. I'm looking forward to talking Witches of the East. We called it 46 and a half just because it really should have been so last week's episode, because we kind of did a little bit of spillover. But we're just doing the last bit of commentary for the Witches of the Mist episode right now. And then, yeah, we'll get into other things after that.
Yeah, that's true. So that's right. This is Witches of the Mist. I always thought it was Witches in the Mist. Remember the first episode, the Night Sisters episode, they go into that magic where they're basically a mist, right?
Yeah.
So I always thought it was Witches in the Mist. And I just opened up the DK book, the Star Wars Clone Wars episode guide, and I realized it's actually Witches of the Mist, which is cool, which is very, very cool. And yeah, this is the last portion of what we've been talking about. We've covered Night Sisters, where we started. We met the Dathomir witches, right? And we lost, of course, Ventress as Dooku's Padawan, right, or apprentice.
Yeah.
And then we went into Monster, and that was last week's show where we talked to the super talented Sithfire 30, Dayton Allen, and he showed us his kind of hybrid, would you call it, Savage Opress?
Yeah, it was cool. He really showed us his whole entire process and kind of took us through step by step to see what he does when he goes about making an action figure. And since he's probably like the master, I think it was just a great opportunity for beginners all the way through to the most advanced customizers to just get a feel for how to approach making their own figures.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely has some great tips. And it was just great having him on. So thanks again to Sithfire for being on. And then tonight we're going to finish up this arc so that we can finally put that away for a little while. This original air dates for this episode was January 21st, 2011. So it was in kind of the new year for this episode. And it says Anakin and Obi-Wan hunt for the culprit who slaughtered Jedi on Deveron. They find out it was Savage Opress, the Dark Warrior created by the Night Sisters and trained by Count Dooku. Dooku, Asajj Ventress, and the Jedi all seek to make Savage their pawn. But the hulking Night Brother has his own plans for his future. That's basically the outline of this. We've talked about this over the last few episodes. We kind of hit a crossroads, right? Or we're leading up to the crossroads, which I feel is the Mortis arc. But I think we definitely hit a place where everything is topsy-turvy, right?
Yeah, the rules that we've been accustomed to for the 3 seasons we've been watching have kind of been turned on their head.
Mm-hmm.
That we thought were established alliances turned out to be more malleable than we thought.
Yeah, I think Savage, or not Savage, but Sidious, Darth Sidious, he started to realize that he couldn't count on Dooku going up against him with Ventress. And he says, Ventress is too powerful, and he basically tells him to take her out. And he does it, or he believes that he does it. So this whole process of getting back at Dooku is laid before them by the Night Sisters, right, and Ventress. So in the end, we realize that they train this monster, basically this crazy guy that has Sith powers and everything, and he's just a beast. He's got Night Sister magic. He's impervious to blasting points and whatnot, and he even succeeds in his first mission, minus a lightsaber, by the way, by killing a Jedi Master and a Padawan. So
Yeah, very easily too.
Yeah, that was definitely something that he was totally rewarded with a lightsaber and more training, of course, to become Dooku's apprentice, right?
Yep.
So let's get into this episode and we will talk about it. Let's see here. Sorry about that. It says the plan to evil may bring great power, but not loyalty. What do you think about that?
I guess Savage ended up with a lot of power, but in the end, not only was he not loyal to Dooku, when push came to shove, he wasn't really loyal to Ventress either. And towards the end of the episode, he goes back to Talon. Talon shows loyalty to him, which makes you wonder, is she, is she just as loyal to Savage as she is to Ventress?
Yeah, it seems like these people in power, they play all the angles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, very much so.
And what's more dangerous than a hulking beast with a brain? Right?
Yeah.
he started to feel bad, didn't he? He was like, this person's betraying me, and this guy doesn't really like me, and he keeps electrocuting me.
Yeah.
Oh man! But before we talk about that, this was probably the standout portion. As we know, like Dave Filoni loves to do, he loves to show elements of the EU and elements of things that get people excited. And I know way back in 2011, or even before that, when we saw the preview for this, we know very well that who these guys are, right?
Yeah.
It's Delta Squad, isn't
From
it?
the video game world.
Yeah, the Republic Commandos, right? And they're bringing back, he had a chance to bring them in, which is super cool. And they finally roll in. And this is going to lead us to the first custom I have tonight. I decided that one of the later characters that Hasbro provided for us was this boss character, right?
Yep.
And he didn't really have the articulation that we wanted, did he?
No, was he a 5 POA?
He wasn't a 5 POA, but I'll tell you, Darth Daddy, if I would take the articulation that these guys had, even compared to what we're getting these days, with the 5 POA. No, his waist moved.
Okay.
His arms moved. We'll get into it here in a moment, but I thought it was a good idea to kind of take this sample that I have here. I guess this was from one of those Clone Wars magazines, if you will. And I looked at
those around just for this reason.
Yeah, I know. They are great references. Every Clone Wars book and everything from the Insider to these DK books that we have, they are great resources to help you customize to your heart's content, right? I'm definitely going to be using these as the rest of my template, if you will. But the funny thing about these two pictures that I just showed you, the only troopers that you see walk off the shuttle are these three. And the one that I have for you tonight is the other guy that you actually do not see, which is this guy to the far left, my right. It's Fixer. And what I did is I took this boss figure, and I actually, if you can see there, this is my first custom of the night. I've actually taken the time to make the legs articulated. This is the portion that wasn't articulated. His legs were not articulated at all. So what I did is I took the time to make the knees articulated, and then also the feet. You can see that those are classic Clone Trooper feet, but they work just as good. And I also added new hands. You can see that I added Rex hands there in this image here. Are you seeing that?
Oh, yeah.
So what I did was I just took the time to finish the job that we're so wanting these days, right? I have a feeling that the design process, it starts with no articulation, and then they just add the articulation in later. And I even took the time to make the helmet removable, but I won't show that at this time. I'll have to show it at a later date. So here is Fixer. This is the change I made, and I even took the time to take the actual backpack that the realistic version comes with.
Yep.
And put it on the figure. So here you can still see kind of some of the paint from Boss. I was just working on this guy last night, so he's not complete yet. And you can kind of see some of the graphic design that I implement on my designs. This is kind of one of the things that I do. I'll label them and put my name on there. One of the things we're going to do tonight, along with talking about these episodes, is we're going to kind of reintroduce ourselves and just kind of let you know who we are, just in case maybe you don't know who we are. Maybe you're like, who the heck are these guys talking about Clone Wars, in 2017? Yeah, we're very aware that of the date and what's going on. We're just really passionate fans about the Clone Wars. So we will definitely talk about that as we move along on this episode. So you still with me?
Oh, I am.
Awesome. Okay. So as we go into this episode, we realize that Dooku is starting to share his secrets with Savage, right? He's like, I'll train you as a Sith Lord, but he realizes he doesn't have any technique, right?
Yep.
So he takes his saber away from him, and he's just like trying to teach him, but he's more of like a hulking animal. And he tells him he has no technique, if you're seeing this image here. And while that's happening, we find out that the Jedi have the Delta Squad actually were the people who brought back the information that maybe this was somebody from the clan of Darth Maul. So what they do is they actually go to they don't go to Iridonia. They actually go to Dathomir, where Darth Maul actually lived, and they picked him up from there. So they know he actually came, the monster came from this area. So they get into this kind of conflict. Here's a question I have for you real quick.
Sure.
What's Darth Maul's real name?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. I would love to know. Like, I would love if Pablo could tell us that. Pablo Hidalgo from the
I know in
story.
the expanded universe, Palpatine got him as an infant.
Yeah. His name can't be Darth Maul, right? Can't be.
I guess if you get him that young, it could be. I mean, it might be the only name he knows.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe he didn't have a name. That's a good point.
Because he got him as a baby.
Yeah. Yeah. So we see Anakin and Obi-Wan, and they're in this village, and they're trying to figure out all this stuff. And basically, this guy tells them, "You got to go find Mother Talzin," right? And that's going to lead us into our next custom, and that's going to be coming from you. And you're going to show us kind of your just your awesome amount of work that you've done on both Mother Talzin and some of these Night Sisters, right? And they are some of the coolest characters, by the way. Just some of the most striking features and whatnot. And there's Ventress.
Yeah.
So tell us about some of these customs.
Yeah, so the 4 here that I made all at once in a period of 3 days for my sons. I want to say maybe this, I think I did this in 2000 and I always forget. I think it was like 5 years ago.
Long time ago, in a galaxy far, far.
Yeah, October 7th, 2012. So about 4.5 years ago.
Wow.
And yeah, I think Talzin was one of my first like fully 100% sculpted figures that I had ever tried. Mm-hmm. And I tried to incorporate soft goods. And actually, Elisa's mom helped me with the soft goods on that. She did some of the sewing. So I'd have it like done on time. And yeah, if you ever want to know about the whole build process on these, there's a whole episode that we did about it called Night Sisters. It's 2 episodes ago. You can watch it on the Customs for the Kid channel on YouTube. one of the previous videos. But we're just going to keep moving forward since we already covered these. I would just say I'd recommend watching the Night Sister episodes to check these out in greater depth.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you for those. And we realized that once they finally get on the trail, they end up at Mother Towson's place, and in that cave, in that awesome cave. And she actually helps them out, doesn't she? She takes time, tells them the truth. She says, the person you're looking for is on Toyd area, of all places, because Dooku actually gives Savage Opress a mission, right?
Yep.
And it leads actually to Toyd area, where King Katuko, and this is going to lead us to a shout out. We've done this shout out before, but it's always nice to kind of share what the community is doing as well. This is a friend of ours that does cool customs, man. He does so many cool customs, such a variety. He must be doing them day and night.
I know.
So tell us,
he's definitely active.
Yeah, tell us about his custom of King Katuko.
A sculpted figure made from a Watto, and he did a nice job. He just it looks like the robe that he put on there might be from Valorum, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it could be Valorum, just cut short. And then it's on a Watto figure, and then all the details there are sculpted in details. And I wouldn't mind making this figure. He had enough of an influence in the show, and he was essentially killed off in this episode.
Yeah,
Savage went a little too far and ended up killing the king.
Yeah,
To Dooku's dismay.
Yeah, we were just going to get to that here. We realized that he's run out of time, right? Savage has run out of time because Anakin and Obi-Wan, they're literally on top of this guy trying to tackle him, right?
Yeah.
And so King Katuko tries to get away, and sure enough, he gets him. He gets him, doesn't he?
Breaks his neck.
Yeah, he breaks his neck. And I don't think he thought ahead on that, because once he gets back to where he's going, Dooku is ticked, right?
Oh, very much so.
Yeah. So because he wanted him alive, but
yeah, he just wanted to strong arm him and threaten him into joining the Separatists, not have him dead. Now he can't. Now he has a whole planet he can't use to his advantage.
That's right. That's right. And so we find out that Dooku's like, you can redeem yourself, when he finds out Ventress is still alive. And then Ventress comes in with that, tap on his forehead kind of thing, wake him up, hello, and and all of a sudden they are both, it's 2 against 1, and they're fighting against Dooku. And this was such a cool fight, but what happens during this event is kind of where the crossroad happens again. Both for Ventress and for Savage. Savage decides he just can't take it anymore, and he doesn't really want to be with either one of these people. So he ends up getting away. So as you're seeing here, he just chokes both of them, and he bails. He just gets out of there, and he runs into Anakin and Obi-Wan again. And they, in some senses, put up a good fight, but it's still not enough, because in hindsight, he just wants to get away. He wants to run. He's had it with all of these people, so he's not ready. And also Ventress has to get away too, because she's just unfortunately she's not a match for Dooku. So her mission to kill this guy off was just it was futile, right? She just didn't make it. Unfortunately,
it was surprising to see how quickly Savage turned on her, though. It doesn't give you a lot of a high opinion of Night Sister magic, because he didn't even last 15 minutes under her spell.
Yeah, I know. Maybe it was that electricity, that Sith electric. You know what I'm saying? That,
Or the
maybe
Sith training.
yeah, it's like jogging his brain or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
But we thought we would take this time. Like we said, we had customizer Sithfire 30 on last week, and we just thought we would share kind of a couple more shots of kind of the battle damage version of his Savaggio press. He just did an amazing job, but we thought that would be a nice feature. I always wanted to have kind of a damaged version of this guy because he barely gets away. You can see in this picture, he's got kind of a black eye. He's missing horns and everything. I mean, he just gets beat up the whole time. So do a little talking about this.
Yeah, when we had Dayton Allen on last week, he showed us his Savage. This is the battle damage there. You can see the cut horns and the battle damage around the eyes here. But yeah, he went through. He showed us all the alternates that he had for this Savage. And if you want to watch the build, I suggest watching episode 46. You can see the battle damage here on the armor. But he'll show you the whole build and how he went from start to finish. And it's a great episode. It's probably one of the most in-depth discussions I've seen Dayton on one particular project, like really go in depth about something. I've seen him show a few things here and there and talk, maybe generally about figures, but this one he really went through and described his whole process, how he goes about doing battle damage, how he goes about making armor, how he does musculature. It was really informative, and I really recommend, fans of his work go and check out that episode we did with him to see everything that was done.
Cool. Yeah, that's an amazing piece of work. Just such an inspiration for sure for all of us. And I wanted to take this time while we have the chance to kind of reintroduce ourselves. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, we are customizers, of course. A lot of our fans, they know who we are. But if you're just catching this now, basically what we do is we customize. We make characters, the unsung heroes, the things that did not get made by Hasbro in the 3 3/4 inch scale, because it's just fun. I mean, for me, I started pretty much customizing. I have an art background. You don't necessarily have to have an art background. It helps a little bit, but I started back in '95 when the figures came back. The big chest Luke and Han Solo Flex, so they call him. There was always something to be made, and it's just it's a really great hobby for beginners, for experts. If you want to get back into it, maybe you haven't been doing it a while, but for me, it's just a way to present my art in a 3-dimensional kind of landscape. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of why I do it. Why do you do customizing? What is it about customizing that pulled you into the Star Wars community?
The parenthood, really. I mean, it wasn't. I didn't even know it existed. My son was a Star Wars collector.
Yeah.
He collected in the 3 3/4 inch line, and he probably started when he was about 3. And it probably took 3 years worth of collecting before I even came across customs. I think I was on eBay trying to find some figures that he wanted, for a long time already, and you really couldn't find on store pegs unless you went to like a specialty store. And while searching for these characters on eBay, I came across the artwork of a custom action figure artist and his unique one-of-a-kind figures. I was like, wow, these are cool. I haven't seen these anywhere. Figured out they were custom, and I was like, wow. I was kind of mind blown. I was like, I didn't even know people did stuff like this.
Sure.
So I bid on them. I won. We got them in the mail when they got home. And when Elias got them, he was like, Dad, can we make these? And I didn't even think it would be something that I would be capable of even doing. But he was pretty sure that I was somebody that could do it. And he asked me to do that activity with him. I thought maybe we try it one day and we'd see what would happen. And he ended up becoming very passionate about it to the point where it's 7 years later and we're still making them. I thought it was going to be a one-time thing that turned into something so much more.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it was triggered by the Clone Wars. He was getting that weekly dose of Star Wars, and because that was his generation of Star Wars. His first Star Wars movie in the theater was the Clone Wars movie, and it became one of his favorites. That's how kind of we became friends, because you were making Clone Wars customs, and that was his focus, I think, because of that weekly ritual. And before I knew it, I just started making customs to have content on a blog that he wanted to make about Star Wars custom action figures. And I started featuring other artists because I started really having strong admiration for what people were doing. And I wanted to create some kind of archive, so I knew it would always be around. And I would say the blog's probably like my favorite custom. And as far as the figures, that's just a cool accompaniment to what I've been working on for all this time.
Yeah, you guys do all kinds of stuff, don't you?
Yeah, we try to do stuff from Expanded Universe, all the different films, the animated content, the comic books sometimes. I would say, like, years, it is more predominantly from the films and the animated content. And since we started the show, there's definitely a lot more Clone Wars happening, or more frequently than it was maybe other times. But I don't mind that, because like Clone Wars content is some of my favorite content, so I'm perfectly okay with that.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I think they did a good job. We talk about this all the time. They did do some cool characters. They did, like, Serapis, for example.
Yeah, he was nice.
Some of those other oddball characters, but I just really wanted more. I wanted more of the oddball characters. And that's really what got me into doing the Clone Wars stuff. I was, of course, doing movie stuff, and got involved in some of those custom contests, but not really too many. I think that's what put me on the scene. I did a custom Hoth Luke for Jedi Defender, and I think I won like second place or something, which was really cool. Because it was a great way to kind of get into the community, in a contest. I'm not really big on the contest, but I really like the community that's out there. I just hope it keeps going in this dark time. So we're having right.
Yeah, I did see it has shrunk quite a bit. I remember like 2012, 2013, there was a huge boom. There was so many active customizers where it just in the day, if you posted something in the morning, it would be on the second page by the afternoon, because there was so many other people right behind you. And unfortunately, due to the lack of articulated figures on the pegs, you've really seen a drastic drop in the amount of people customizing figures.
Yeah, I hear you. I think that's the nature of the beast these days, right? We just have to do it ourselves, unfortunately. I mean, that's the attitude we take, folks. Not sure where everybody else is in your fandom, but it's always a good thing to just kind of do your own, make your own path. And that's kind of what this show is all about. We're just kind of carrying on with the Clone Wars, that existed, what was it, from 2008 to 2013, basically. Yeah. We would certainly love to see the Clone Wars finish, but we're going to finish it with these episodes. But let's finish out this episode real fast. Thanks for sharing that, by the way. It's always great to understand where we came from and everything. But in the end, Savage is all jacked up, and he goes back to Mother Talzin, and she just willingly takes him in, and she drops the bomb on him, right? And what was the bomb?
Oh, that he has a brother who's still alive and well, and
yeah,
he should go seek him out.
This was one of the craziest things I think I've ever experienced in the Clone Wars, when Clone Wars was happening, right? I would frequent Dave Filoni's site, and when this started to come around and people were like, how is Darth Maul still alive and everything, I just defended it so much, and the payoff for this is just so cool.
I would say it was worth bringing him back just for the Mandalore episodes alone.
That's true. That's true. So clearly you can see in that shattered crystal ball there. I definitely want to try to make this at some point as a custom, put like a Darth Maul head in kind of like a rubber ball or something.
Be a resin cast.
Yeah, and make this really cool crystal ball with Darth Maul in there. Like make it a really cool accessory. You know what I'm saying?
That would be cool.
Yeah, I think a lot of figures would benefit from like just nifty accessories instead of these guns that we get, these build-a-weapon.
Oh, I hate those large guns. Yeah, cool accessories go a long way.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Well, all right. That was an awesome episode. And thanks for joining us once again, folks. When I'm not here, you can find me on Facebook at PeakObi1 Custom Creations, or you can find me on Instagram at PeakObi1 Custom Figures. And, of course, you can find me on YouTube at the Customizing Clone War at the Customizing of the Clone Wars on your site, right? On your page.
Yep.
Or you can find it on my page and give me a like, because I don't think I have any likes, but I certainly do share those videos as well. And the good news is there's 46 still. If you haven't watched it, if this is the first time you're watching, there's 46 more episodes of customs and guests and everything under the sun. When you're not here, where can we find you?
You can find me on the Customs for the Kid blog. It's at www.customsforthekid.blogspot.com. From there, you could see the whole library of figures that me and my son Elias have made at the Customs for the Kid blog, and the action figure index right here in the sidebar. You could also get the links to our Facebook page, our YouTube channel where you're watching this right now, on Twitter, on Tumblr, Instagram, Google+. We're also available on Pinterest, and I guess it's important that we should probably tell everybody that we're going to take a small break.
Yes, that's right. That's right. We were going to bring it up
here. It might. What are we saying? Like 3 weeks to 4 weeks? We're going to go on a little short hiatus.
We're gonna start with 2 weeks, because it might look more like 3 weeks, because it's con season, folks. We have Star Wars Celebration. That's this Thursday, and then I make it a.
We should probably say that we're not going to be there, right?
Yeah, we're definitely not going to be there. Sorry,
we won't be there.
Yeah, we won't be there. We're going to be enjoying it online, streaming, watching the video along with everybody else.
I'm on the single dad budget, so it's like you gotta think food and shelter before fun.
You gotta pick your battles. I'm waiting for the Disney park to finish. And then I'll go down there, and then next week or the week after that is C2E2, and I go there. So look around for me. My name's Chad. PeakObi1 I go by. I'm certainly going to be walking around. Maybe I'll have some things to hand out and whatnot, but I certainly will be at C2E2. That's a Chicago event. Hopefully, if I run into anybody, say hello. I would love to hear that somebody actually, loves our show and gives us those thumbs up and everything. But yeah, we will be taking a break. So be well to each other. Thank you for joining us so far, and to be continued. We're going to come back and we're going to talk Mortis, but we need a little time off. So thanks again for joining us.
First, or is Mortis before Citadel?
It's Mortis. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So Mortis is first, and then we will be talking Mortis, and we'll get down and dirty into that. It'll be awesome. And then, yeah, after that comes the Citadel. So Lots of
So yeah,
exciting
in the
stuff.
meantime, you can catch up on older episodes that you might have missed.
Yeah.
Plenty of content there. If you haven't seen every episode, you have a couple weeks to catch up. While if you're missing us that badly that you still need to see a show,
Yeah. And send us some messages. Write in the comments. Just tell us what you think, and we promise we're not going anywhere. We're coming back. We just need a little break.
Yeah, every show has its little breaks in between seasons, and
That's
we
right.
just gave
That's
you
right.
like 2.5 seasons worth of material without any breaks. So
Yeah.
we're gonna give ourselves a little mini vacation, and we are coming back.
Yeah, and we'll have some great customs along the way too. Hopefully that'll blow your mind. So thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
Take care, and may the force be with you.